Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm from San Jose, California, and I'm a recent graduate of Presentation High School, an all-girls Catholic school in the Bay Area. Growing up in a nice neighborhood where I attended schools that had stringent rules barring harassment and inequality, I didn't have many experiences with discrimination. That is, until I joined the debate team. For anyone who somewhat knows what high school speech and debate is, you're probably puzzled by what I just said, because on paper it sounds like a paradox. High school speech and debate, an activity that was created to lift up voices, an activity that creates space for people to talk about injustice, is also an activity where discrimination exists. Now, that doesn't add up. But somehow, when you take away these intentions, the debates about domestic violence and racism, the trophies awarded to the kids who spoke up against corruption and intolerance, you get something a lot more sinister. And that part is what I wanted to talk to you about today, to tell you about the sexism I experienced and witnessed the 4 years I was involved in competitive high school speech and debate. I joined the debate team immediately when I entered high school. There was something really compelling about an activity where teenagers could talk about foreign and domestic policy like it was nobody's business, and actually be taken seriously, with evidence, analytics, and words on their side. There was something compelling about a space where a teenage girl was allowed to voice her thoughts for an uninterrupted 45 minutes and finally be heard. I believed debate was going to be the most empowering and intellectually stimulating experience, but I soon realized that that wasn't true for everyone, especially for my female friends and I. Sexism in debate, like most modern-day inequities, isn't obvious, which is surprising when you realize how ubiquitous it is. It appears when our male competitors address us as sweetheart or honey in round, or call us that bitch outside of round, and no one, not the judge in the room, or any other adults nearby, decide to correct their behavior. It appears in the prep groups you were never invited to. No matter where you went, debate camps or debate practice, you would always watch all the boys huddle in one corner, shoulders locked together, sharing evidence you would never get to see, and talking through arguments you would never be able to hear. Even though they never told you you weren't allowed to participate, you knew that even if you somehow nudged your way in, they wouldn't extend an invitation or notify you when they found a new argument, and you would feel like a burden, someone their parents forced them to be friends with. Sexism happens when your coach is on the phone while you're redoing your speech and gives you 2 haphazardly typed out comments, but puts their phone away and spends over an hour giving feedback and making revisions when a male teammate is redoing his speech. It comes unexpectedly in a conversation with friends when they told you that a debater you admired called you a temptress and joked about having sex with you behind your back, and you realized he didn't see you as a respectable competitor. No, he only cared about what you looked like. It appears when the judge feels obligated to tell you they think your skirt is too short, or you would look better with heels on, that your voice is too pitchy, or better yet, you are too aggressive, which is not the way young women should behave. That somehow, despite the fact that your opponent is almost a foot taller than you are perceived as threatening solely because you asked him questions he didn't know the answer to. And so you lose the round, and this part especially hurts, because now it's no longer a problem that happens outside of round, but something that impacts your performance at a tournament. Unlike other activities where you can just count the number of baskets you make, in debate, you win rounds if your judge has a better perception of you than your opponents. So if judges think your voice sounds screechy or your dress doesn't fit their taste, they can mark you down even if your arguments are stronger. In fact, Rich Cowlicks, the director of speech and debate at the Laurel School, found that while male-identifying debaters criticized for aggressiveness still have a 50% probability of winning the round, female-identifying debaters receiving the same criticism lose 3/4 of the round in which the criticism is levied. And when the criticism is given in a round in which the female-identifying debaters are facing male-identifying debaters, the loss rate is closer to 90%. These impacts extend to the next level of competitive debate, the national level, where last year only around 30% of qualifying competitors in my event were female identifying. If fewer women win rounds, fewer women are able to reach the next level of competitive achievement. And it was the culmination of these issues that bred insecurity in my friends and I, that made us feel like no matter how much research we conducted or speeches we practiced, it would never be enough because things like aggression, assertiveness, dominance, which are key to winning debate rounds, are only reserved for men. And if we couldn't succeed at something small like high school debate, how could we dare to break glass ceilings in the workplace or enact meaningful change using our voices? Are we even ready for society? As I see it, sexism is the adding up of subtle events until it becomes an impenetrable wall, something you are forced to confront, something you always think about. And that heavy burden causes young girls to walk away. I experienced this firsthand. When I started debate freshman year, there were 16 other girls my age who joined the team. 4 years later, there are only 2 left, my debate partner Tanaya and me. Walking away from debate is really hard, maybe even as hard as it is to stay in it. It makes you feel weak, like you've lost the perpetual war against sexism, even as waging the war every day you debate traumatizes you. It's quite a double bind. For many of my teammates and I, speech and debate was our first experience with sexism. It was the first time all that abstract stuff about gender pay gaps and harassment we had casually read about had actually hit us in the face, had impacted our self-perception in a very tangible and personal way. I will be leaving debate next year as I head off to college. There are many positive things I will take away with me, the friendships I've gained, the research skills, and the policy knowledge I've learned. But I will also always remember how I felt when I was on the receiving end of sexist comments, when my friends told me they were leaving debate. But most importantly, I'll never forget the urge within me during all of those moments to change everything for women like us. Thanks.